I am Norman. I'm 25 years old. Back in my third year of university, the small tech startup I founded with a few friends slowly turned into a $1 million company. Was it luck? Maybe. But no one saw the years I spent sleepless, the mornings fueled by coffee just to stay awake. Everyone called it success, but I was the one who knew the cost best. And my family. They had always been at the center of my life. My mother cooked those perfect homemade meals. My father made me read the newspaper every morning as a child. My brother and I wrestled in the rooms, and on Sunday mornings, my sister and I watched cartoons together. From the outside, we seemed like an almost perfect family. We used to be. As success grew, so did my family's lifestyle. I bought them a new house. Their kitchen had the latest high-tech appliances, and my father finally drove the classic car he had always dreamed of. My brother lived in luxury between temporary jobs before he could stand on his own. My sister started attending a private university in New York, every expense paid by me. And vacations, the Caribbean, Switzerland, the Maldives, each one was a gift from the years of effort I had put in. I did all this out of gratitude, because I believed that family was the place that held you up even when you turned your back. What a terrible mistake that was. Then came Stacy. I met her on campus, bumping into her as she rushed by with a coffee in hand. Her smile, her warmth, and most importantly, her belief in me. In the beginning, even I thought, this relationship is going great. Time passed. She walked beside me, witnessing the growth of my business. We moved in together. We built a home, a life. I thought I would grow old with her. We got engaged, and I placed a ring on her finger. I asked, "Will you marry me?" And she said yes, looking straight into my eyes. Those years, yes, they were real. Laughter, candlelit dinners, family birthday celebrations, Stacy shopping with my mother. Everything was beautiful. And most importantly, during those years, I trusted everyone blindly. Because I gave everything I had. Because love was supposed to be like that, right? You give. You give without thinking. But then comes the day when you realize the hands you extended, the ones you trusted most, were the ones that broke you. I am Norman, and this is my revenge story. But before I begin, I wanted to take you back to the time when everything seemed perfect, because the higher you rise, the louder the fall echoes. Oh, and before I forget, if you like my story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That day, that cursed April day, it was just a normal evening after work. I decided to go home early because I wanted to surprise Stacy. A bottle of her favorite wine in my hand, the thought of a nice dinner in my mind. I opened the door quietly. I stepped in with a smile. But the silence in the house was unsettling. Then voices, whispers, breaths. And then Stacy's laughter intertwined with a familiar voice, my brother's voice. I rushed toward the bedroom. Somewhere inside me, a voice screamed, "You're misunderstanding this." But the moment I opened the door, that image will never leave my mind for as long as I live. They were both there, the hand resting on Stacy's bare shoulder. That hand was my brother's. Rage exploded in my veins. I don't remember what I screamed or what I said, just the shattering of a vase, the crash of the picture frame I hurled at the wall, Stacy's screams, and my brother's stupid, frozen look of fear. I stormed out, didn't even bother putting on my shoes. My hands were shaking. My heart felt like it was going to burst out of my chest. I spent that night in my car. When the first light of morning came, I returned home. Stacy was already packing her things. "Norman, please, let's talk," she said. The only words I uttered. "There's nothing to talk about. Get out." But the real destruction came days later. I wanted to talk to my family, to tell them what had happened, to face this betrayal together. I thought a mother and father would stand beside their son when he was in pain. But I was silent, and they spoke. "Maybe, in time, you can forgive," my mother said. My father, without even looking me in the eye. "It happened. Don't break up the family over this." My sister wept. She was the only one who mourned for me. They didn't even try to confront my brother, didn't cut ties with him. Weeks later, I found out. Stacy had been invited to dinner, to our family home. The irony. The woman who once planned a wedding with me now sat at the table with my brother, with my family. That moment I realized my pain was less important than their comfort. My pride was crushed beneath the illusion of family loyalty. For the first time, I truly fell silent. I didn't scream. I didn't demand answers. I just narrowed my eyes and said nothing. But inside me, something echoed. They erased me. But the truth, I would erase them. That night, I opened my laptop. I went through every financial record, the company's ownership structure, partnerships, investments. One by one, I listed everything. What I felt wasn't rage. It was cold, calculated, methodical revenge. Nothing would ever be the same again. I was Norman, and everyone who betrayed me had already sealed their own fate. If you've listened this far, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Do you know when a person truly changes? Not when they fall apart, but when they realize no one will reach out to help them. That was the moment I changed completely. Until then, I still had a tiny shred of hope inside me. Maybe one day my family would understand everything. Maybe one day they would come to me and truly apologize. But that never happened. Instead of an outstretched hand, all I got were closed doors. My mother called me a few days later. My anger was still the same. "Norman, sweetheart," she said. "Look, we understand you. We're truly sorry. But we don't want the family to fall apart. These things aren't pleasant, but they happen. And Stacy is really upset too." Her voice wasn't filled with guilt. It was filled with exhaustion. As if my pain was a burden they were desperate to rid themselves of. My father was more direct. "Forgive, son. In life, there's no choice but to forgive." There was no mention of my brother. No mention of Stacy. Just me. I was the one expected to forgive. I was the one who suffered, who was betrayed, who was abandoned. And yet, the responsibility of keeping the family together was placed on me. A family is supposed to protect its children. But my family chose to burden me instead. "You're stronger, Norman. Show some maturity," they said. No, I chose to be weak. Because the strength I had only served to let everyone dance on my back. That day, I made a decision. I wouldn't speak. I had always been the one speaking, the one explaining, defending, sacrificing. Now, I would do only what I wanted to do. For days, I analyzed the company's financial structure. Accounts, backup accounts, shareholders, contracts. Everything was under my control. My family didn't know that the luxurious life they enjoyed was built entirely on my name. So I slowly started erasing that name. First, I withdrew my investment funds. Silently. without leaving a trace. Then, I transferred some major shares to a third-party company. I canceled every business expense tied to family members. All the cards, benefits, salaries, everything that was technically theirs, but ultimately controlled by me. One by one, I erased them. I gave them time. Not all at once, no. They needed to realize it slowly, because the real punishment is watching loss unfold and seeing the collapse without being able to stop it. During this process, I invested in a new venture in Chicago. Quietly, anonymously. A new name, a new company. Stronger, invisible. I told my colleagues I was moving, but this wasn't just a move. This was a transformation. Norman was no longer just Norman. He was unseen. I changed my phone number, deleted my social media accounts. My family could no longer reach me. While they were still living in their fantasy of happy family dinners with Stacy and my brother, I was silently cutting off the oxygen that kept them alive. I gave no explanations, because words wouldn't speak in this story anymore. Silence would, and the most painful thing they would ever hear was my silence. What would you do if you were in my place? Let's think about it together. Leave a comment. One morning, just as I was drinking my third coffee in my new Chicago office, I received a notification on my phone. It was an email sent to my old corporate account from the family business. The subject line was simple: system error. No access to main accounts. I smiled. The first crack in the plan had finally surfaced. But this was only the beginning. 2 days later, I saw an email from my mother. She was pleading. "Norman, the bank told us the company stopped making payments. What's going on?" I didn't respond, because I knew exactly what was going on. They still believed they were living their luxurious lives, but the foundation beneath them had already been pulled away. My brother tried to take over the company. He thought he could assume control, but the documents, contracts, authorizations, they had all been revoked long ago. Their names were no longer part of the company structure, just as they were no longer part of my past. Then came more frantic emails. The mortgage is late. The company card isn't working. The accounts are blocked. The employees haven't been paid. Every step was expected. Every problem arrived right on time. I never gave them an explanation. I never yelled. I never demanded answers, because true revenge doesn't come with noise. It comes with silence, and silence was tearing them apart. 1 month later, I heard their family home was up for sale. My brother deleted his social media accounts. Stacy had found a new job, but she couldn't keep it. No more luxury, no more vacations, no more swiping credit cards at designer stores, no more Norman. And me? What was I doing during all this? I was preparing for a new investment meeting in my Chicago office. The company I had built from scratch was thriving. In its first year, it had already secured 3 rounds of funding. The software model I developed was being pursued by major firms for acquisition. People were lining up to partner with me. And I had left that old life behind. I had changed my last name, erased my digital past, stepped into a different reality. No one asked me anymore. "Norman, how's your family?" Because I didn't have a family anymore. I only had a past, and that past had burned to ashes behind me. One day, an envelope arrived at my office. My name was written by hand. I opened it. It was a letter from my mother. We've become lonely. We made mistakes. But you are our son. I folded the letter and threw it in the trash. Did part of me ache? Maybe. But victory doesn't always feel joyful. Sometimes, it only leaves behind peaceful silence. Now, I live in my own kingdom. I set my own rules. And when I look back, I can only say one thing. You lived in the world I built, but that world no longer exists. Find your own way. If you liked my story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button.